and welcome to FRL, Formula Racing League Multi-Class Thursday Round 2 Red Bull Ring. This is the second race out of the 7-race calendar with Valencia next week. We just visited Kota last week with Imola, Watkins, Glen, Silverstone and Suzuka still left the race. But our focus is on the Red Bull Ring at the moment as we just wait for the time to go down. The qualifying length will be a 20-minute qualifying length with the first 10 minutes the BMW M2 class will cover it, and the last 10 minutes will be the GT2 cars, plus there are 3 Ferrari challengers amongst the GT2 cars as well, and they're in the same category for the championship as well. BMW M2 class they are currently all in the same car, but let's see who's the top spot driver at the end of the season out of the BMW M2. With qualifying just about to start now. So the race is a 45-minute race with the 1 pit stop, and tyres are optional with refueling is mandatory in this race. The fueling is 25 seconds, but if you wanted to change your tyres it is automatic 30 seconds, and whatever damage if you do accumulate any during the race, but let's hope it doesn't come to that, with Munster leading the pack out of the M2 cars. So going down so in the M2 cars we have Munster, Joel, Micheletti, Gaiman, Sloot, Monweg, Serpentine, Keller, Brown, Sebastian, Pacasia, Matavelli, Supernatural, Kazovic, Pospisil, McRae and Kusat. In the GT2 class you have Thacker, Gibino, Wheat, Smith, Harvey, Lamborghini, Lino, Trotman, Tullock, Barnett, Sharp, Gedman, Marshall, Volkman, Muller, Bushtilly, Gerling and Brocken. Muller, Volkman, Muller and Gerling, they're the 3 in the Ferrari challengers. So let's get on with the racing, qualifying. So just jumping on board with some of the racers going around the track as it stands. I'll get the map up big. I do like it just for qualifying to see where everybody is out on track. So Munster is currently going to set the benchmark for the hungry bunch of M2s not too far behind. So we'll just take you through the BMW M2 standings because the M2 cars are out on track first. So it'll just make sense just to do the M2 cars who are out on track. So Munster is currently on top spot after round 1 last week, with Sloots in second, Keller's in third, Haggerty in fourth, Kazovic in fifth, Pospisil in sixth, Serpentine in seventh, Gaiman 8th, Brown 9th, Pakisa 10, Sebastian 11, Matavelli 12, Wheat 13th, Micheletti 14, Monweg 15th, Rap and Supernatural, disappointing for them last week, currently DNFs. But they're in the race today, so there is a good chance they can pick up some points. So just see Munster with a 142 Cosset, nicks out of Munster, currently provisional pole. Picanello is in third currently with Micheletti coming across the line in fourth. See what other cars are there. Still out on track. So Gaiman jumps up into second. So next car coming across is Matt Belly. He jumps up to fifth. Some other cars coming across the line who haven't set the time. That's Rap. Gonna make a set the time now. So the guys that are currently set times at the moment is Kusat up in provisional pole at the moment. I believe Munster come out just in front of him. So Brown's coming across the line. Can he gain any places? Stays where he is. With Munster, your next car crossed the line to see if he can close the gap on Kusat. And Gaiman is second. So you have 10 cars out on track. Currently set times. So Munster, can he improve on his time? He improves, goes on top spot with Pirelli coming across the line. He stays where he is. Kusat, can he improve? He stays in second. So McRae's comes across the line in fifth. There's a few other cars down the bottom. Sloot, he sets a time, he jumps up the board, trying to get some of the other cars down the bottom of the grid to see if they can make anything of the lap they're on now, but don't think so. So Matt Belly, if he comes across the line, stays where he is. God. So it's Rap coming across the line, he sets a time. He jumps up into 13th spot, so Sebastian coming across the line next. He comes into the pit, trying to look for racers who haven't set the time. Magati. Where can he come? Doesn't set the time, it looks like. So Gibino comes across the line. S comes in 16th, sorry. So Munster provisional pole as it stands comes across the last corner. Can he improve in his time? Stays where he is. Next car across the line. Stays where he is. Next car. He jumps up into top spot, knocks him off. No change in the table there. Micheletti, can he do anything about it? Oh, Sloot is the next one. Pakasia stays where he is. Wheats stays there as well. Matavelli doesn't improve. So everybody has set the time. So this is your provisional starting for the race with 2 minutes left on the clock. Just having a look where else. I'm trying to find it. Agati, sorry, you haven't set the time. He still hasn't set the time. So Brown, he's given up in. So S, can he improve in his time in 18th? No, he doesn't. So Munster on the final corner. Stays where he is. Goes up one spot. He's into the pit. Hospital stays there. McRae comes across the line with Stormer 2. Oh, try it. He stays there. Sloot, can he improve? No, he... Pakasia coming across. No, Gaiman. No. There's no change to the table, but there, so the car coming around the final corner now is wrapped. Nope. Mattavelli with 20 seconds on the clock. He comes into the pit, so all the M2 cars have set times. Agati coming around the final corner now. Can he improve from 12? Stays there. Oh no, he goes up into 10th. Moonweg. 10th. Hospital, the last couple of corners. Currently in third spot. Nope, he comes into the pit. He stays there. Careless, the next one. He stays where he is. And Micheletti comes across the line in 5th. So that is the end of qualifying for the M2 cars. Now you have a ferocious bunch of GT2 cars with 3 challengers, Ferrari challengers. So I will go through the GT2 standings, and on top spot is Tulloch. Wheats is currently in second with Gibino in third. Smith in 4th, Sharp in 5th, Harvey in 6th, Barnett in 7th, Muller in 8th, Volkman in 9th, Tamburini 10th, Trotman 11th, Lino 12th, Gedman 13th, Marshall 14th, Galen 15th, Litty and Thacker were the 2 DNFs from last week's race as well, but that is the DG2 standings as well. So looking at the telemetry, so it looks like Prostelli will set the benchmark. He's currently leading the way for the GT2 and the Ferrari Challengers. Amongst the group, the GT2 cars and the Ferrari Challengers are in the same category in the championship. Even though they've got a red square, the red and grey squares are in the same championship. So that is your standings for the M2 class standings for the race. So looking just out in front, Bustilli, just jump on board with some of the cars, some of the liveries and stuff. Well, let's see if this is the lap. Assess the benchmark. It does send the benchmark of a 129.4. No doubt there's going to be a lot more GT2 cars going to be flooding that leaderboard as well. To jump on board Machado, he jumps up the board, just trying to get on board with some of the other drivers coming across the line. Gibino just stick on board with the top at the moment with all the times come flooding in now. So Machado is set in the benchmark with a 128. Oh, with Sharp taking it off him with a 128.8. Machado in second with Bustilli in third. So Sharp is your provisional pole sitter with the next couple of cars, one set to bench, one set to time. Trotman coming across the line now. Can he jump up? He jumps up the board. He sets the time, currently in 11th. So Bustilli coming around the last corner. Can he improve in his time? The Volkman leading the pack of the Chargers. Doesn't improve, doesn't make anything of it though. Some of the cars coming across the line one set of time. See them jumping up onto the table now. The Smets currently in second, 8th now, sorry. That's been taken away from him. The Apprentice stays where he is. Tamburini currently stays in 16th with just over 4 minutes left. These GT2 cars are coming across the line pretty quick. With Lino loses a place but gains another 2, 3 or 4 places. Up into 4th with Sharp still currently your provisional pole sitter. Trotman, his next car coming across the line, 17th, stays where he is. He's going to jump on board with some of the other cars. Next couple of cars coming across the line. The Volkman is your lead Ferrari man out of these three. But is he going to put the GT2 cars under a lot of pressure during the race? Bustilli comes across the line, currently in 5th. Stays where he is. Gerling 10th. Wheats coming across the lines, 15th. Bagetto drops a place, but can he gain a place coming across the line now? Trying to keep up with everybody coming across the line with Sharp. Can he improve? Currently, he does improve. With Tamburini into the pit. And look at some of the other guys out on track. Lino's your next car across the line. Up into second. Nope. Jabino doesn't improve in his time either. Stays down into 14th. Next car across the line is Trotman stays where he is. So A Sharp is on top spot. He's going to lead the way potentially. He's on provisional pole. So Brustelli is going to be your next one across the line. Thaka not too far behind. Stays where he is. Can't see any of the board changing. Mikado, what can he do? Stage 4, Progetto is currently 12th. Volkman, can he jump up? Stays where he is. Sharp improving his time again. Just over a minute. They'll have enough time to do 2 laps. If they got enough fuel. With it being a short circuit, potentially if they can keep race pace up with the cars out in front, the GT2 cars within potentially 8-9 laps will, well, maybe sooner than I'll be catching the lead car, the M2, if there's no traffic. Should be easy to overtake, nice wide track. Tamburini coming across the line, currently in 18th. I think you might catch him a little bit sooner with it being a small track and a lot of racing out on track. Whoop. So if he crosses the line, he will have time to do one more lap. But what can he make of this one? Stays in 5th, Thacker 7th. Weeds come across the line. Mercado. He's 3rd. I'm trying to catch him. The guy's broken. Currently in 13th. Jumps up 2 spots. 9th. So Gedman is at the back of the moment. Can he jump up a couple of places? Stays in 19th. And Jabino will be an next car across the line, so he will have time to do one more lap. But if he hits track limits, that's it. End of the race, end of quali for him. So everybody out on track. This is the final lap with Talak nicking up top spot just about off sharp. Tamburini currently in 18th. Stays in 18th. Pushtali. Closely followed by Thacker. Coming across the starting straight now. Stays where he is. Thacker jumps up 2 spots. Wheats coming across the line, jumps up 1. Smets is your next guy across the line. 9th, stays where he is. Dawkins, can he improve in his? Stays Bulkman. Gedman coming across the line now. Jumps up 1 spot only. So the last car out on track is Jabino. Has he improved? In 10th. So right. So Talak is your guy on top spot for the GT2 cars and the Friday Challengers. We're Sharp in 2nd, occupying the front row. Mercado in 3rd, leading with 4th, back in 5th. Wheat 6th, Pushtili in 7th, Prentice in 8th, Smets 9th, Jabino 10th, Bulkman in 11th, Brocken 12th, Barnett 13th, Progetto 14th, Galen 15th, Trotman 16th, Muller 17th, Deadman 18th, Tamburini 19th. So that is your running order for the GT2 class for the Challenger, with Kusut in top spot, with Munster in 2nd, currently on the front row with Possible in 3rd, McRae in 4th, Micheletti in 5th, Piccanello in 6th, Sloot 7th, Gaiman 8th, Keller 9th, Matavelli in 10th, Mowing in 11th, Haggerty in 12th, Brown 13th, Sebastian 14th, Pakasia 15th, Wheat 16th, Rap 17th, S 18th, Kazovic in 19th, Serpentine in 20th. So they will be following the GT2 cars around this track. It's 45 minutes. Tyres are optional, you got to come in for a fixed fuel. It is 25 seconds. If you wanted to come and change tyres, it will be 30 seconds, and if you want to change damage, up to you. This should be very, very fun race, just the same as last week. Somebody's having fun in the pit lane. So Telek is on the top spot for the GT2 cars, with Beats in second and Jabino in third. So that's your top three for the championship with the GT2 cars. And in the M2 cars, currently on top spot is Munster, Sloots in second, with Keller in third of the championship. Just gonna nip to the toilet, guys. I'll be back now. Oh, right. Hey guys. Oh, right. So, we've just got 45 seconds left before we start the formation lap. The GT2 cars will catch the M2 cars pretty quick around this track, especially if there's racing involved. So, Telek will lead the way for the GT2 cars.
20 seconds.
Amongst Cosset will lead the way for the M2 cars.
10 seconds.
So let's get this map down so we can see better. This race should be very, very eventful with high speed corners coming up very quickly. There is gonna be cars all over the map. But let's hope everybody survives lap 1, turn 1, and racing for everybody from start to finish is epic. There's your OG commsman. So look at some of the cars coming past. Whoop. Warming up the tires. Whee! Oh, this is going to be so much fun to watch on comms. I can't wait for it to start. Telek going down here, coming around the final corner very, very shortly for racing to start. Machado will be alongside him, putting him under a lot of pressure. GT2 cars are sliding and getting tyres into these, getting temperature into these tyres. Nice shot. All the cars coming down. Just jump on board with the leader of the pack. A nice view. All cars will start getting bunched up shortly. Double file. Ooh, oh, everybody gripping onto our steering wheel. A little bit fidgety, making sure the comfy spot on. As we're about to start Formula Racing League multi-class on a Thursday, round 2 at the Red Bull Ring. GT2 cars, BMW M2 Drivers' Championship. There is no team championship, so every driver for themselves. There are 3 Ferrari Challenger cars amongst the GT2 cars, which are also in the GT2 category for the championship. So we are gonna be lights out very, very shortly, and away we go. Coming down into turn 1. Is everybody around? Some of them at the bit of the escape route. Just jump on board with Tala, currently the leader of this pack. Just jump on board with him while all the telemetry starts getting sorted and settled, so it'll be easier to try and track out the cars we're racing amongst all these. Stella seems to be out in front, a little bit comfortable coming down to this corner. The Sharp not too far behind. As you got Volkman and Smets going side by side. Coming around this tricky part of the track. As the race leader still out in front, a couple of cars side by side. Let's see what's happening with the BMW M2 cars as they come around these S's. A couple more seem to be a little bit spread out, a little bit side by side action going on there. Stella seems to have a nice bit of a breathing space out in front, a couple of them bunched up coming down into turn 1. Oh, so there's a little bit of contact, so that's always going to happen. So let's have a look what's happening with the M2 cars after lap 1. Looks like Micheletti's just out in front. Munster looks like he was under a little bit of pressure then, as they have a drag race neck and neck coming down the second corner. So just backs out of it, so just looking a bit further down the park. The GT2 cars are scrapping like hell. Petalak and Sharp, Machado and Thaka not under too much of push. Oh, it looks like Sharp's under a little bit more pressure now. As they come up into this, down into sweeping right. So it looks like Sharp, McCart. So Thaka is under a lot of pressure now. So there's 2 cars going neck and neck at the background coming down into turn 1. There's some cars after it. They make a stick, may have a good drive out of that corner. Jump on board with Prentice Bushnell at the moment, coming down at this corner. Is he gonna look for it? No, he doesn't look for it. Just jump on board with some of the M2 cars. Micheletti is out in front. So there's a couple of cars going a bit squibbly then, coming out into turn 1. It looks like Edmund is amongst the M2 cars. Can he put any of these cars off as they're all nicely bunched up now, racing down into turn 2. Possible. A couple of cars overtake, a little bit of a door banging. It's possible. McRae. Piccanello. I think that's Flute's not too far behind as well, all amongst it all. Having a good scrap a little bit further back. Looks like cars are a little bit spaced out, but the scrap out of the M2 cars are these three. Keep on board of these coming around this tricky part of the track. Possible as they go neck and neck around the S's, no doubt as well. They are neck and neck, fair play. Are they going to still be neck and neck? Or is he going to cut back on the inside coming down this corner as well? No. As there looks to be another BMW car not too far behind. Mattavelli has joined this group of M2 cars, scrapping it out. You just have a look what's going on out in front with Tulloch. So there's a lot of cars bunched up here with Thacker controlling the pace out of these bunch. With a lot of hungry GT2 cars closely followed behind. The GT comms man hunting him down. Let's come out of these S's. Drag up. We'll sweep it right under, down into the tricky last corner. It can be tricky. You need to hit it right. Pathaka seems to still be in front of this group of cars. Is anybody else a little bit closer coming down into turn 1? Just have a look what's happening a little bit further down the pack. These two cars going side by side. That's a BMW. So Micheletti is out in front with Cossat not too far behind, but Munster putting him under a lot of pressure as Cossat looks to have gone wide. The Munster still taking going up this hill on the better racing line with a lot of cars scrapping it out. Can he make his stick on the outside of this corner? That is very, very brave and still on track to do anything like that. Coming up to the final corner. Track limits, if he stayed on the track without gaining track limits, that would have been... But that move, fair play, it's good racing, especially on the outside. Looking at the other M2 cars, not too far behind. Scrapping it out as well as Brocken has made his pit stop. A little bit of scrapping going on at the back with Agadi and Fakassia. I don't know, one of them went a little bit wide. He's coming back at them with the GT2 car getting involved amongst them as well. Let's have a look what else is going on a bit further up. So Tulloch is still out in front. The Sharp under pressure now. So Machado. So Sharp has caught up to Tulloch. So these three are scrapping it out. Currently on lap 5, and there are M2 cars amongst the race leader already. Sharp seems to be still holding off Machado. Sorry. As they close up to an M2 car coming around this tricky part of the track with slower cars involved. They all make it through. They jump on board with the scrap not too far behind. With Thacker still under a lot of pressure from Prentice. Coming down into the last couple of corners. Is Sharp under more pressure coming down into this corner with a couple of M2 cars in the way. Braking points are going to be different, maybe a bit later, as you can see by Sharp. Machado, did he make it through? Not too sure. With you got BMW cars too wide, GT2 cars too wide, they're all bunched up coming down into turn 2. It's great racing by them all, and Sharp looks to go on the inside of Tulloch. This is multi-class racing at its very best. No contact, continue racing. Machado looks like he lost out in that battle, losing a little bit of time, but looking a bit further back, trying to work out numbers for the BMW M2s just in the background with Tulloch. And that is Matavelli and Lutz, I think, scrapping it out. It looks like a GT2 car struggling to get past an M2 car. It's a tricky part of the track to try and get past. As Pospisil is leading this group of M2 cars, with Micheletti leading the way for the M2 cars, Ricosat in second and Picanello in third. Not too far behind a couple of more hungry M2 cars, with them all getting a little bit more bunched up now, with GT2 cars getting involved. So Tulloch on the 7th lap is amongst all these cars as well. Ricardo is not too far behind. It looks like one of the GT2 cars have come into the pit. There's the race leader going to pass another M2 car. Machado getting amongst it all with a bit of racing, not too far behind, with Thacker catching up the Prentice. Not too far behind is Brustonelli, with Volkmann and Barnett scrapping it out, not too far behind as well. So it looks like Prentice has taken Thacker. Brustonelli not too far behind Volkmann. Looks like he might have put Barnett put Volkmann under a bit of pressure. There it is, cars all over the place. So Prentice is just out in front, with Thacker closely followed by Brustonelli, who looks to go on the outside with them two cars just in front. Round the final corner. No way. As Volkmann and Barnett. Looks like Volkmann has a little bit of breathing space. Thacker's under pressure now from Brustonelli. Sorry. Drag race down. Turn 3, I think, sorry. Thacker looks to go on the inside of Volkmann. Drag race out of here with M2 cars just in front of Volkmann. They put both the drivers' braking points off, with Volkmann having the better racing line. A little bit shaky coming down into that braking point, but on the look at some of the other cars behind, so it looks like Smets is leading the way from Gerlin, who's followed by Weeks. So leader Tulloch is on lap 8 with Machado in second, with Prentice in third, with Volkmann and Thacker still scrapping it out, coming down into the final corner. The last one corner, sorry. Thacker being put off a little bit there, with Barnett not too far behind. Drag race now, coming down into turn 1. Who's going to be the best on the brakes? You stay behind him and make a move into the next corner. You can have a look. I think maybe a little bit too far back. Micheletti is your race leader from the M2 class. Cusat in second. Piccanello in third. So that's your top 3 of the racers out on track. Pospisil and McRae scrapping it out. Continue racing. Well done. It can happen, especially with the GT2 cars out on track. The Surfine Team Brown seem to be scrapping it out with Brown under pressure from Surfine Team behind with Agati following these two. There's a drag race coming down into this tricky part of the track. If you miss your braking, you could end up into the gravel. From the dirty side of the track, the inside line could end up causing an accident, but they seem to have all got through there one by one. A bit of a breather space between the 3 of them, with Micheletti 2 laps down on the GT2 car, who has done 10 laps. The GT2 cars are rapid. Just looking at some of the telemetry now, is possible under a bit more pressure from Mattavelli, Sloot, and I think that's McRae, sorry. So you got 4 of the BMWs scrambling down into turn 1. As one of them gets a little bit out of shape. As the 4 of them continue the drag race down, 3 abreast. It's going to be 4 bunched up. Pospisil gone a little bit wide, with Sloots currently leading the way of this pack of M2 cars. This is going to be a mad overtaking for GT2 car. Managed to get on the racing line, 3 abreast, keep it on track, looking good. Can it continue all the way through? What's happening with the camera? I don't know why that didn't change, but looks like Pospisil is the leader out of that. The Sloot's not too far behind. Where's the camera going back up there? That's right, sorry, he was off the road. So Pospisil is the leader of the... Oh, Mattavelli, sorry, is the leader. Pospisil is second. McRae third of this group of cars. Mattavelli under pressure from the hungry M2 cars behind. As Pospisil looks, going the outside, maybe cut back in. Is it going to be 3 abreast coming down into turn 1? It should be 2. Pospisil drag race down into turn 1 on the better racing line, the grippier side of the track. That looks like Gaiman. McRae looking to go through the 2 of them. He's just behind these 2 now and will pick up any advantage if these 2 miss the braking or anything. So it looked like McRae had to pull out just a little bit to avoid contact, but these 3 are having a good scrap if possible. Out in front, coming down into this corner. McRae puts Mattavelli under pressure. Pospisil going wide. These 2 go through. That's what mean. You miss your brake and you could end up in the gravel. But Sloot's under pressure from Brown. It looks like he's caught a bit of dirt. So can Brown get at him? in these next couple of corners. Maybe not, maybe on a start-finish straight with Sharp, Lino, Tamburini, Brocken and Trotman making the pit stop with Tulloch, the race leader. Amongst all these M2 cars is Machado in second. So Tulloch is gonna be a little bit put off, but manages to get just in front onto the racing line under pressure. So can he put him under pressure coming down into the braking zone of turn 1? I think Tulloch may hold it off. So he gained a little bit of time coming out that corner, but lost a bit of traction doing so, but avoided contact. It's good driving. Just looking at some of the other cars, are Smet and Wheats having a bit of a scrap. A couple of M2 cars getting involved. Tulloch and Machado now just jump on these now, just see who's going to come into the pit first out of these. Whoop, as he got put off by an M2 car just in front. The M2 car is entitled to stay on the racing line. It's the GT2 cars. It's up to them to make their way past the slower car in a safe manner and not to put the M2 car off doing so into any corner. If you catch an M2 car coming into a corner, they either overtake in a safe manner or stay behind until they can overtake safely. So, a bit of a breathing space between them two with Mets and Wheats. A little bit close together with Sharp under pressure now from Bush to Lee. Sharp stays in front. We have 23 minutes left of racing, plus if they end up doing another lap it'll be about 25. Sharp is currently on top spot for the pit stops out of the GT2 Ferrari Challenger class. Smet is still holding off Wheats with Thacker and Barnett. With them catching Barnett and Thacker. Mets manages to stay in front. Coming around, it's going to be a bit of a tricky corner. You're going to be putting your power down too early. You could end up off track, but it looks like Wheats is looking on the outside now. Manages to stay behind. Smets holds him off. Last couple of corners. Can Wheats have a good drive out and put him under a lot of pressure into turn 1? Catching an M2 car, so they will pick up a bit of dirt on the dirty side of the track. As it looks like they both lost out coming around that corner, but still keep their positions as it is. Tulloch still defending off Machado. So there are a few more cars that have come into the pit. The new race leader is Micheletti for the M2 class. We'll jump on board with him. amongst all the GT2 cars with Machiavelli and Pospisil still scrapping. So I'll just keep an eye on the telemetry to see when Teller comes into the pit. Machiavelli is still holding off. Pospisil. Just having a little bit further down. Pospisil have a better drive out of this corner and put him under pressure coming on into turn 1. No, I think it's a bit of a breathing space. But Talak is in the pit now. This is going to be crucial for Sharp, who is there. Talak is here. Oh, this is going to be close, but depending on traffic, as Sharp managed to gain or lose out with an early pit stop with Pushtali all over the back of him. Apprentice had Volkman to acquire him around the next couple of corners. So Talak is coming out to the pit now and will still be in front and safe. No, Machado has come out to the pits just in front, I believe. Oh, that might be a different car, sorry. No, it's a different car. Whoop. So Sharp is currently in second, still under pressure from Pushtali. Drag race coming down now, nice fresh tyres, there's no banging. Let's keep it on track. Let's have a look what's going on a little bit further down. It looks like your race leader Micheletti's coming into the pits now. With some of the other cars out on track. There's cars diving into the pit now. So Munster is sitting on top spot for the M2 class, the M2 cars out of the pit stop with Micheletti in the pit, but there. Just keep on board to see who's going to be the winner out of this. I think Munster may come out just in front, but he's coming around the pit. He's still got to go, but there, Munster, where is he? Coming down here now, so he's made his pit stop. It's going to be close. So it looks like Munster will have a better drive out this corner. Can he catch him and put him under pressure in the next? Machiavelli would have picked up a little bit of speed and would have been alright coming down at that corner. So Micheletti is your race leader out of that M2 class. With a couple of cars getting amongst them as well. Just jump on board with Tamburini and Brocken having a bit of a scrap with an M2 car in amongst it all. Just looking at the telemetry with Smets and Wheat still going at it. And Machado is on a lap 18 with cars still needing to come into the pits, but these two are scrapping it out. Just keep on board with these two coming down into the next corner with the BMW M2 car. They will catch it pretty quick. Give way. It's back out of it a little bit then. Racing continues. They've managed to get past okay. Pushtali and Prentice are under a lot of Pushtali is under pressure from Prentice now. It's a good drive out of turn 1. drag race down. Prentice didn't have nothing for him on that corner with Muller and Borgetto. A bit of a breathing space between them lot, Tomberini and Broken. Them two cars getting involved. The Prentice is putting Bush Tully under pressure coming around these next couple of corners. M2 cars just up in front, followed by Volkmann in the Ferrari Challenger as he looks to go on the outside. Stays on the outside, manages to get in front with an M2 car, getting involved in this corner. Make it through. They do make it through with Volkmann not too far behind this group of cars. Gets past the M2 car, so it's a drag race down. Looks like Prentice is in front with Lino and Barnett. And the drag race down into turn 1. Barnett stays where he is. So Prentice is still gonna hold off Bush Tully. Makes himself look big. Prentice put his car in the way. Can he come back up in down this next corner? Stay as it is. A little bit further back. It looks like Lino and Barnett are having a scrap. With Barnett looking to go on the outside of Lino. Does on the outside, you'll have the better line in, but what's his exit gonna be like out of this corner? Managed to stay on the racing line. So Lino has Barnett in front of him now to try and catch with just under 14 minutes left of racing. So these are still scrapping it out. Looks like Barnett has a bit of a breathing space over Lino now, coming out into the final corner. So Machado is your race leader with M2 cars in amongst it all. I believe that's going to be Brown and Sloot scrapping it out. Sloot makes way. Brown will pull off that GT2 car coming up, but Sloot still needs to come into the pit. Mattavelli under pressure from Pospisil now. He's a little bit close, coming out into the final corner. Drag race down into turn 1. Who's going to be the best on the brakes? He's going to defend him off. There's another. It looks like Brown. Pospisil has just taken Mattavelli. Pospisil is just out in front with Monweg amongst it. So Pospisil has got some defending to do coming down into the next corner with Monweg not too far behind. Fans on the inside. It's going to be interesting with GT2 cars getting amongst it all around this part of the track. Pospisil is currently leading the way. You can hear the GT2 cars over the M2. Pospisil is still leading the way. A GT2 car does get past. tricky part for a GT2 car now to get stuck behind M2 cars. The M2 cars will always have the racing line. It's up to the GT2 cars to get past. So, looking a bit further up the leaderboard, Smets and Lino still scrapping it up, but currently out in front is Machado, and Tullock is in second, with Prentice in third. Under pressure still from Pushtalir, who is not too far behind. Smets and Lino, I think, so look a bit further down. Attacker Muller is pulling out Audi under pressure in our Challenger. We close the gap on our corner, and Apprentice is under a lot more pressure now. Push the lead. We stick it on the outside. Stick it on the inside. Makes our move stick. A couple of more M2 cars just out in front. Can Prentice get back at him with the M2 cars in front? Tricky part of the track to be bunched up with M2 cars. As you've seen last lap, GT2 car got sandwiched, stuck in an M2 car, and then nothing for it. Prentice is all over the back of him now as they both come out of the slipstream. Prentice will slop in just behind. All over the back of him now, with more M2 cars just up in front. As his cars side by side. Now they make a move. The Apprentice stuck behind the motor. I'm trying to find out where the M2 cars are. Monweg and Mattavelli, I believe, looking at the telemetry, where the closest cars on track for the M2 scrap, with GT2 cars squeezing through. Trotman and Gerling having a scrap on the back. The Trotman hold him off with 8 minutes left of racing. So can Galen have a good drive out to put the Welshman under pressure down into turn one. The Trotman will still be in front. I think he might be under a bit of pressure for the last spot. The GT2 cars, he's looking for it. So it looks like Galen has made a move on Trotman. Can he come back at him? It looks like he had a good drive out as they go nearly side by side with a bunch of M2 cars in front. Braking's going to be tricky. He'll slot back in. Flagger and Muller on the scrap. Look, Muller looks to go a little bit wide, try and get a better racing line out of that corner. Sandwiched by M2s. Backer stays just in front. I think that is Tamburini and Brocken scrapping it out a bit further down, with Pustoli still under pressure from the Commsman Prentice. Just having a look around to see out of the M2 cars, Monwig still behind the Pospisil, with Mattavelli not too far behind, with a lot of cars bunched up, scrapping it out for position. Could be crucial with just over 5 minutes left of racing. Tamburini Brocken fighting it down the bottom half with Lino, Smets and Wheat. Smets and Wheats have been having a good scrap between the pair of them. Bit of breathing space for there. Machado is your race leader with Telek in second, closely followed behind. And then Bushtali and Prentice are still at it. So Prentice looks to go on the same line again. No, he looks to go on the inside instead. Last couple of corners. Just under 5 minutes left of racing. He's going to defend him off coming down into turn one. See what drive out of turn one he can have on Bushtali. He looks like he is all over the back of him. And are they going to be neck and neck? Nope, I think he may slot in just behind. The Smet still in front of Wheats. Willino just up the road. So a little bit further down. A couple of more M2 cars still scrapping it out at the back. The Pakasi and Sloot scrapping it out. He's coming down into this corner. There's a bunch of mixed class cars. As we're on board with Machado. Not too far behind is Talak. So these two now scrapping it out. They have two M2 cars, but they'll clear them pretty quick before they come around the tricky part of the track. But who knows? With Machado getting put off a little bit by an M2 car. The Talak has closed the gap a little bit more. As they're coming down here, Talak lose out on the braking. Keeps it on track. Not the braking line he would have liked, but that's what happens when you got M2 cars out on track. So a bit further down, Baker Muller still scrapping it out. Coming down this corner, it's going to be a bit tricky with an M2 car amongst it all. But Munster is not letting that by. Currently in second at the M2 class with Micheletti on top spot. Monwig is under pressure from Mattavelli now. GT2 cars coming down to this corner is going to slow him down. That's what happens when you got mixed class. You can win or lose on some corners. That's what Monwig under pressure from Mattavelli now, with just over a minute and a half to go. With Micheletti is the race leader out of the M2 class, so just look a bit further down. So, still scrapping it out, but there with Machado and Tulloch are scrapping it out to jump on board with these, as they're going to be catching a lot of M2 cars coming around the next couple of corners with Tulloch all over the back window.
Window is now closed.
There's your pit window closed. Tulloch has 2 laps to try and make a pass on Machado. So it's a run out of turn 1 looking like.
Leaders on final lap now.
Seems to have gained an advantage in his corner with an M2 car, putting Tulloch off. He would have lost some time in doing so. Bushley and Prentice coming across the line out to start lap 29. As he jump on board with Machado, as he went wide with Tulloch going wide as well. So Bushley is a little bit too far back. If Machado is going to win a battle out with the GT2 cars, unless M2 cars just up in front can put him off more with Micheletti. Coming around the final corner now, but he will have to do another lap, followed by Munster in second, Cossette in third. So Machado, when he crosses the line, all the cars after him would be declared a race finish. So Machado is the race winner for the GT2 Ferrari Challenger class. Tulloch in second. As you just look a bit further down, got Micheletti. A little bit further down the pack, you still got GT2 cars still scrapping it out. It's all happening. The drag race coming down. It looks like Bushley had won that battle with the next couple of cars coming across the line. Lino is still holding Smets off at the back. Try and jump on board with your race leader currently for the M2 class, followed by Munster. Cossette is in third, coming across the last couple of corners. So Munster was currently on top spot of the championships. That may have changed, don't know, considering the points for the M2 class. Winner is Micheletti, with Munster in third, and then Cossette takes third spot. It looks like all racers have come across the line, and with 30 laps completed, Machado is your race winner. Whoops, sorry. So Machado is your race winner after 30 laps. Tulloch in second with the fastest lap of the race. Bushley in third. Prentice in fourth. Volkman in fifth. Barnett in sixth. Lino in seventh. Smets in eighth. Wheat ninth. Muller 10th. Thacker 11th. Bogetto in 12th, Gibino 13th, Bocan 14th, Tamburini 15th, Gedman 16th, Gerlin 17th, Trotman 18th, Sharp 19th. So that's your race standings for the GT2 class, with Micheletti on top spot for race for round 2. For the M2 class, with Munster in second, Cussat in third, Picanello in fourth, Pospisil in fifth, Monweg in sixth, McCrae seventh, Keller eighth, Brown ninth, Mattavelli 10th, Gearman 11th, Hegati 12th, Serpentine 13th, Sloot 14th, Pacasia 15th, Sebastien in 16th, Wheat in 17th, S in 18th, and Kazovic and Rap may have disconnected. I'm not sure. It would have been very unfortunate if that was the case. So that is the GT2 M2 Drivers' Championship at the Red Bull Ring. I am deeply, deeply sorry. No, sorry guys. Next weekend we're going to be at Valencia. So Valencia should be another action-packed race also. So that is the GT2 and the M2 class race 2 at the Red Bull Ring. Take it easy guys, drive safe, and good night, good morning, wherever you are around the world.